Republicans in the House of Representatives this week put forward two anti-abortion pieces of legislation to restrict abortion nationwide. Something that they swore, by the way, we totally aren't going to do that if we take back the House. They said that last summer. And then as we got closer to the election, more and more Republicans said, oh no, we're totally going to do it. Here they are, their first actual week since they missed all of last week, and they tried to do it twice. And one Republican lawmaker, Nancy Mace, is pissed off about this, and rightfully so, because Nancy Mace says that this move by these Republicans proves that they learned nothing from the embarrassment they just suffered in the midterms. Here is what Mace had to say. We learned nothing from the midterms. If this is how we're going to operate in the first week, millions of women across the board were angry over overturning Roe v. Wade. What we're doing this week is paying lip service to life. Nothing that we're doing this week on protecting life is ever going to make it through the Senate. So she's right. She's right about everything. First and foremost, it doesn't matter what Republicans pass in the House with regard to restricting abortion nationwide, it is not going to pass the Senate. Even if it did narrowly pass the Senate, you still got President Biden's veto pen. You're not going to have the numbers to undo the veto. It ain't going to happen, at least for the next 2 years. Now, beyond those 2 years, hell yeah, keep an eye on it. Republicans actually could pull it off. But for the next 2 years, rest easy, it ain't going to happen. But more importantly, Mace is right about the other fact. Republicans were punished in the midterms because of the Supreme Court overturning Dobbs, and then, of course, the flurry of Republican anti-abortion bills across the country. Voters were mad about that. Even in red states, voters overwhelmingly rejected abortion restrictions when they were literally put on the ballot. People don't want the restrictions, and they are going to continue punishing the Republican Party for it. And that was just 2 months ago. Again, 2 months ago, this happened. Y'all were embarrassed, so embarrassed that you had to come up with your little autopsy committee at the RNC to figure out what went wrong. You know what went wrong. Dobbs being overturned and the anti-abortion bills were a huge part of why you lost. So was Donald Trump. So was not having a platform to run on, thanks to Mitch McConnell. Failures across the board. But that Dobbs decision hurt you probably more than anything else. And here you are, your first full week in Congress, trying to impose those same restrictions on the national level. Now, maybe you're doing it early to get it out of the way and pay lip service to the right-wing fanatics in your party, because you know that they'll remember it 2 years from now when they go back to the polls, and you're hoping the moderates and independents don't remember it 2 years from now. It's a gutsy strategy, but I do believe that's where their minds are. They're trying to appease the crazies, but do it far enough out from an election to where the moderates won't hold them accountable for it in 2024 like they did in 2022. This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.